Thanks for joining me again. Um, so we left off where I isolated the model and, cut it away from the original photo. Here was the original photo. And so I erased all around it to get a nice, crisp image. All the edges are done, which is kind of the most important part. And I just wanted to go over the next step, which is basically picking the color scheme and getting the size of the composition basically right. So this was all cut out. It's a little tight. If you look next to the gun, that's not too much room on the border. Plus, with a cool gun like that, I like to have it firing. So I kind of, try to play up the strengths of the model. So let me see here. Canvas, crop, resize, and I'm going to make it a little bigger. Maybe not so much on the bottom, just a little on the top and on the sides. I'll crop it. I'll fill in this background there just to see. And there's a little spot I didn't erase. This edge came up. So I want to erase that right now. Cleaning the model up and getting that is one of the most important steps. All right. I forget where I was if I duplicated it. I usually always duplicate in case I start smudging or messing with the wrong layer or something. Now, I put a blue in here just because I was erasing and I just pick a color where I know I'll see the edge. But looking at the base, they kind of have a gray going on. So I'm going to try to use that color. First, what I want to do is I'm going to go to the selection tool, freehand. I'm on the layer with this miniature, so I'm just selecting part of the base. And then I'm going to copy and paste it. Take it off, go to it, so you see it right there. Uniform, so it does it even, and I'm just going to make it bigger. I just want another, it's like, so when you make it bigger, the little details obviously get more sizable, which means they're more in front of you and closer. So on that perspective, this is a good simple little trick to get that perspective worked in there more. A lot of things in this, you're just trying to trick the eye, so you want a lot of lighting tricks and no, I can't even think of it because I'm going through this. A lot of lighting tricks and stuff for depth. I smudge around a lot, so I just take some of this and press it around and get those colors. I'm not trying to be perfect about any of it. Sometimes I use that to make, dust, whatever, kind of get a basic shape going on. And I often smudge on the original one just to break that line up. If it's too harsh of a line, it's harder for me to kind of imagine what's going to go there. So I try to that's the layer underneath, and I'm on its base, and I just smudged it up a little like that. Now, I'm going to probably, one trick here is I go to that background layer, which is blue, hue, saturation, brightness, layer. Now I slide the slider and I can pick, it gives you a good way, instead of picking one, like traditionally if you're painting it by hand, you can't kind of go through and, look at every color in the spectrum, but I can slide through and just if one really, sets in and is like, hey, that's great, then I go with that color. I think this is Cadian, if I'm not mistaken. It sure looks like it color scheme and stuff. So I partly want to go, part of me is like, okay, you want the green, earthy. I like this yellowish, like a mustard, but I also think it should be dark. You can adjust the brightness and also saturation. I tend to desaturate, so it was, all saturated in color. I tend to desaturate the background if the model itself is nice and colorful, because that puts the focus on the model. With most of these, it's always put the focus on the model, and you're just trying to set it and put it in the right setting. So don't over compete with what the model has going on. And this one has some cool lighting on it and pose and everything. So I'm gonna go this color. It's almost grayed out. It's got a bit of green in it, and the gray and the green both go with the base. So that's kind of, I think, my first attempt. So that what I also do here is I generally take this layer or a gray one, I duplicate it, set it on the top, and mark to multiply. And so you see, it's like it acts like a whole tinted layer. And that kind of watch if you change the color. So I'm going a little more yellow than this. See how it's all bright now? So it's a tinted layer. And you can go through. And what I usually do with that layer is I'm trying to get a color. A lot of times I'll put a slightly warmer color on it. This gun is going to be firing, so I kind of go almost an orange. And it's watered down. I don't want it bright. I just want, see, that's even too light. I was probably better off darker. Right there. And I think I'm going to start right about here. That's basically my color scheme blocked in, and what I think I'm going to go with. It's right now, it's not that exciting, but I'm going to have like the orange coming off like the gun barrel, and then the next one you'll see me start to light it. So I'm going to use next, you'll see me use an overlay layer, and I'm going to go over it and add highlights like they're coming from the gun. And the whole point of this tinted layer is so that you can blend the background in with the model. It makes it look like it's not just pasted over. You kind of get that shadow and light and that stuff going on. So thanks for watching. And the next one I told you would be about, we're going to put lighting on this and start to get the shape going on, and then figure out what else I want to do with the background. Thanks.